Hey everyone, and welcome to the NOSR Webs podcast. Let's be real. Okay, who here hasn't at least thought about their video going super viral?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Whether it's a video of your cat being all clumsy or a super well-made explainer video for your business. I mean, we all want those views and subscribers and the likes.
Yeah.
Right? You wouldn't be here if you weren't at least a little bit curious about how to make it on YouTube. And hey, speaking of making it, don't forget to check out the amazing offers in the episode description below. Some serious goodies down there.
Yeah, well, considering YouTube has like a crazy 2.49 billion active users every single month, it's not really a surprise that everyone's trying to figure out
Oh my gosh.
how to stand out in that huge digital crowd.
It's a lot of people.
It is.
Okay, so let's unpack some of the most talked about and, let's be honest, sometimes controversial
Oh, yeah.
YouTube growth techniques.
Oh,
We're going to separate the clever strategies from the really shady ones.
totally.
And we'll back it all up with data and real-world insights. Think of this deep dive as your guide to navigating the sometimes crazy world of YouTube so you can make smart choices about how you grow your channel.
Sounds like a plan. And since we're all about honesty here, let's start with a technique. I think we all have a love-hate relationship with clickbait, those thumbnails, and titles that practically scream, "click me."
Oh, I hate it, but I love it.
We've all fallen for them.
Oh, tell me about it. Just last week, I got sucked into a thumbnail that said it was the most shocking cat video ever.
Oh.
And it was literally just a cat
No.
taking a nap.
Taking a nap.
So disappointing.
It's that classic clickbait trap. You know, it plays on our curiosity. Psychologists actually call this the curiosity gap. It's that like urge we all have to fill in missing information. And the crazy part is clickbait titles can actually boost views by a lot. We're talking a 30% increase.
What? I knew there was a but coming.
There's always a but you know, while you might get more views with clickbait, you do often end up with a higher dislike ratio. Some channels are seeing over 10% dislikes on those videos. So is that short-term view boost worse the long-term damage to your channel's rep? You know?
It's a good question. It's like a sugar rush and then a huge crash.
It is.
And speaking of tactics that are kind of questionable, let's talk about something that honestly surprised me. Engagement manipulation.
Oh yeah, get ready for this one. Research shows that something like 30 to 45% of mid-tier YouTube channels have been caught manipulating engagement in some way.
Wait, seriously, that many? How is that even possible?
It's a whole hidden world out there. We're talking about engagement farms and click farms. These are basically networks of people who are paid to inflate a video's metrics. They like comment and watch videos in bulk. It makes it look like a video is way more popular than it really is.
So they're like little robots almost.
Kind of, and the craziest part is this industry is worth about $1.5 billion every year.
Wow, that's a lot of money. But it sounds super risky.
Yeah.
What happens if you get caught doing this?
The consequences can be pretty bad, like demonetization. You can get strikes against your channel and even get permanently banned from YouTube. It's short-term gain, long-term pain.
Yeah, it makes you wonder about the ethics of it all.
Yeah.
You know, as a viewer, I feel tricked when I find out that a video's engagement isn't real.
It's about trust.
Yeah.
Now, and speaking of trust, let's move on to a technique that really thrives on something we see all the time, online controversy and outrage.
Yeah, it feels like everywhere you look online, people are just yelling at each other.
It's true.
So I guess it makes sense that this is happening on YouTube too.
Yeah, and the data backs it up. You know, controversial videos actually get shared 3 to 5 times more than just neutral content.
Why is that?
Our brains are wired to pay more attention to things that cause really strong emotions, you know, especially negative ones. It's like an evolutionary thing. Threats get our attention.
Okay.
So when a video makes you mad or upset, you're more likely to engage with it, even if it's just to argue in the comments.
So you're saying that some creators are doing this on purpose just to get more views and engagement?
Exactly. And while it might work for a little bit, it does bring up some serious ethical questions like, does this normalize extreme viewpoints? And what about the impact on viewers who might be more sensitive to these messages?
It's a slippery slope. Creators need to be really careful.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to a technique that's a little more subtle, algorithm exploitation.
This is where the art and science of YouTube growth really meet. It's not always bad, but it can be taken too far.
So how does this algorithm actually work?
YouTube's algorithm is really designed to promote videos that keep people watching.
Oh, wait.
Watch time and audience retention. That's what they want.
Gotcha.
Creators who understand this can use strategies like making their videos the right length, choosing the best keywords, even planning their upload schedule to try to get more views.
So it's like you're playing a strategic game with the algorithm.
Yeah, exactly. But then that brings up another really important question. Where's the line between, being clever and manipulating the system? Is it okay to game the system if everyone else is doing it?
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know. I mean, on the one hand, you want to do everything you can to get your videos seen.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, something about manipulating the system feels wrong.
It's a real dilemma a lot of creators face, and to be honest, there's probably not an easy answer.
Yeah.
But let's move on to something that's become really popular, content recycling.
Okay, so this is all about working smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
It makes sense to use your content on different platforms. In fact, did you know 62% of the top YouTubers do this?
Wow.
Yeah.
It has become pretty trendy. There are some definite pros. Think about it.
Yeah.
You can reach way more people and maybe find new audiences on different platforms, but there are also some downsides.
Like what?
Well, you have to think about things like audience fatigue and making sure your content still feels original.
I see what you mean. So while it might be efficient to recycle content, it could also backfire if it starts to feel repetitive.
Exactly. You want to think about the viewer's experience. Think about how you feel when you see the same content over and over again. Does it feel fresh or does it just feel lazy?
I think it depends on how it's done. If it feels like a real attempt to reach new people, I'm all for it. But if it's just lazy, then no.
I agree. Intention and execution are key, But before we finish up this part of our deep dive, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the impact of all this pressure to grow on the creators themselves.
Yeah, it can't be easy to always be chasing after those numbers.
It's tough.
It's got to be stressful.
There was actually a recent study that found that 52% of creators say they are more stressed because of engagement metrics. The pressure to constantly be changing and making new content and growing can lead to burnout.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that behind all those channels are real people putting their heart into their work.
Absolutely, we can't forget that. Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of YouTube growth. Before we went to comments, we were talking about all that pressure creators face.
Yeah, and it feels like all that pressure can lead some creators down a path of, let's just say, questionable choices.
Right.
I mean, we've talked about clickbait and engagement manipulation and even like stirring up controversy just for views.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, are there any ethical ways to grow on YouTube these days?
That is the question, and I'm happy to say the answer is yes. There are definitely ethical ways to grow your channel. It might not be a quick fix like those shady techniques, but it will help you build something that lasts.
Okay, I'm listening. Give me some hope after that last segment.
Well, it all starts with creating great content that really gives value to your viewers. You got to think about what your audience actually wants. What are their problems? What are they into? What kind of content will make their lives better?
So you're saying it's about the audience first, not the algorithm.
Exactly. If you're making content that people want to watch, the algorithm will follow. You have to go beyond those surface level trends and really understand your niche.
I like that it's like building a strong foundation for your channel instead of a house of cards.
I love that. And another key part of ethical growth is really interacting with your audience. I'm talking about responding to comments and having real conversations and really building relationships. It's more than just followers. It's about building a community.
Yeah, it's like turning your channel into a place where people can hang out and feel like they belong.
Exactly. That's powerful. It keeps people coming back and it builds trust and loyalty.
Okay, so we've got great content and real audience interaction. What else?
Transparency, be upfront with your audience about what you're trying to do, what you're struggling with, your process, people like that. It makes you relatable.
Yeah, it's like you're letting them see behind the curtain.
Exactly, and that builds trust. And that's so important for any relationship, online or offline.
Okay, I love all of this.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, those quick fixes we talked about are tempting sometimes.
Oh, I know.
It's easy to get caught up in the numbers.
It's hard not to.
And feel like you need to take shortcuts.
Yeah, but remember, the shortcuts can have consequences, like a bad reputation, losing your audience, even penalties from YouTube. It's not worth it.
You're right, it's a marathon, not a sprint consistency. And being real, that's how you win on YouTube.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And, while we're talking about the long game, let's talk about a technique that can be good or bad, YouTube Shorts.
Oh yeah, YouTube Shorts. Those little videos that are everywhere, they're huge, like 70 billion views a day. That's a lot.
That's a lot of views.
It's like the fast track to YouTube fame, right?
Well, not so fast. While Shorts can get you a ton of views, it's not always easy to turn those viewers into subscribers. Research shows that only about 10% of people who watch Shorts end up watching longer videos on that channel.
So it's good and bad you get views, but it might not lead to real growth.
Exactly. That's why you have to use Shorts strategically. Think of them as a way to get people interested in your main channel.
Like a trailer for a movie.
Yes. Use Shorts to show off your personality, your style, your expertise, and make people want more.
Okay, so don't just post random stuff. Use those shorts to get people to watch your longer videos.
Exactly. And don't forget, quality is still important, even with shorts.
Right.
Don't lower your standards just to get views.
Good advice. Speaking of shady tactics, let's talk about something that feels sneaky to me, misleading analytics.
Ah, yes. The art of making your channel look better than it actually is, it's all smoke and mirrors.
Sounds like a spy movie. How do they even do that? Secret algorithms.
Well, some creators just change their data to make their channel look more successful.
So they're lying.
Kind of. They might pick and choose certain metrics or twist the data to try to get sponsorships or partnerships.
So they make their numbers look better to impress brands.
Exactly. And it might work for a little while, but in the end, it's a bad idea.
Yeah, because eventually they'll get caught.
Exactly when those brands realize they've been tricked, they lose trust, and it's hard to get that back. And brands are getting smarter. About 30% of brands say they've been misled by creators, so it's getting riskier.
It goes against everything we've been talking about, transparency and being authentic.
For sure.
Okay, so we've covered a lot here. I think the main takeaway is that real success on YouTube comes from giving your audience something valuable.
I agree. It's about creating a community, not just followers.
And making content that matters.
Absolutely.
And it's about playing the long game. Building a successful channel takes time and effort.
It does. So to all the creators out there, don't give up.
Focus on your passion, be yourself, and share your unique voice.
The world needs to hear what you have to say.
And remember, the best kind of growth comes from connecting with people and building real relationships and making a positive impact.
Well said. You know, as we head into the last part of our deep dive, we want to hear from you.
What do you think about all these growth techniques? Have you ever been tempted by those quick fixes? What ethical strategies have worked for your introverts? Share your experiences in the comments below. We want to know what you think. Welcome back to the NOSR Webs podcast. We're wrapping up our deep dive into YouTube growth, looking at the good, the bad, and the ugly.
And you know, before we went to the comments, we were talking about how important it is to really connect with your viewers.
Yeah, and not fall for those tempting shortcuts that promise you the world.
It's easy to get caught up in the numbers game, but in the end, success on YouTube comes from making content that your audience actually finds valuable.
You know, it's like any relationship, right? It's all about being real and trusting each other and just having that mutual respect.
Couldn't agree more so. As we wrap up our look at these YouTube growth techniques, let's leave you with something to think about.
Okay, I like that.
Knowing everything we've talked about today, all the ethical and unethical strategies, what kind of YouTube creator do you want to be?
Ooh, that's a good question.
What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind?
It's something to really consider because you have the power to make a difference on YouTube.
And remember, it's not just about the destination, it's about the journey.
Yeah.
So enjoy the process, be yourself, and never stop learning.
Well said. And on that note, we're signing off for today. Thanks for joining us on the NOSR Webs podcast.
And hey, before you go, don't forget to check out those awesome offers in the episode description.
Yeah, there's some good stuff down there.
Until next time,